Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Kate Hamilton Health Podcast. So in today's episode, I am flying solo. I am going to talk to you a little bit about nutrition for wellness. Now, any of you that follow me on social media will hear me often talk about calories and structure and planning, and these can all play a really vital role, if you're working towards goals, whether you want to lose weight, whether you want to gain muscle, whether you have a performance goal. And, these specifics can be hugely helpful. But I think sometimes we can get really, really caught up in the tracking, in the how many calories are in this and how many calories are in that and how much of this can I have. And we forget what's actually most important. Well, what's most important to me and will always be the centre of my coaching, and that is health. So I am always going to put health first when it comes to my coaching and to the message that I put out there. When it comes to health and fitness and dieting, there's nothing wrong with wanting to look well. I believe that it is a form of self-expression. It's a form of self-love. But when your whole self-worth gets wrapped up in how you look, how small you are, how much muscle tone you have, how you're performing, that's when things start to get unhealthy. And I want to just bring this conversation right back to health because, as I said, it's extremely important to me. The first thing I want to say about health is healthy is not just one look. I think we can be misled by this on social media because we look at different people. Our picture of health has been distorted to, six packs, abs, tanned skin, pearly white teeth, young person, no wrinkles, and, this shining picture of health that we see on social media, which a lot of the time is very inauthentic. We are only seeing the highlight reels. We're only seeing people's best pictures. A lot of things are airbrushed. A lot of things are going to be AI now, so we don't even know if they're real. But we don't see what goes on behind the scenes in these photo shoots or even in these photos or these little snapshots we're seeing of people's lives. And I know a lot of the six-pack abs that you will see online will be coming from extremely unhealthy habits. And I say some, I'm generalizing. Obviously, everybody is individual. But my point is, healthy on you is going to look very different than healthy on me. And healthy on me is going to look very different to healthy on someone else. And that's one thing that we need to learn to detach from, because we will never, ever be happy if we're striving for an external source of health, an external look of health and fitness, because we'll never feel good enough. This leads to, body dysmorphia, disordered eating. And it's just really, really important to remember that health actually comes from within. And the same, it's also not one diet. So there is no one size fits all when it comes to healthy eating and what type of diet to follow. I don't even like the word diet to follow. Like, your diet is your diet. It's not a diet. And there's no right or wrong, healthy or unhealthy. It's all nuanced. And it all depends on the context, and it depends on the person, and it depends on the lifestyle. We need to start moving away from this black and white thinking, and we really need to start looking within. And that's where true health, that's where true wellness actually is. So I believe that health is at the very core of your being. It shines through every single cell of your body if you let it. That's what's beautiful. That's what's authentic. And that's what people are going to notice about you. When you start prioritizing yourself, when you start prioritizing your health, it's not like, oh my God, look at Mary. Doesn't she look like she's about 10 stone now? Or Jeannie Mac, look at her. She must be size 8 now or size 12. Or, you don't think about other people like that. You look and you be like, oh my God, Mary looks fantastic. She's got a great glow about her. She just, she's lost weight. She looks brilliant. She looks really healthy. But that look of health is that glow that comes from inside you, that self-confidence, that self-worth, the health that's shining through your cells. That's what's shining out of you, and that's where true health is. And the fun part is it's going to be different for all of us. Our path to achieving that will be different for all of us. So although our path is going to be different to achieve our true health, it all starts with slowing down. Like, this is the number one thing. And this is the number one barrier that stops people from being able to move forward on their health journeys and stop that cycle of yo-yo dieting and just being in that vicious cycle of, trying to make progress and not being able to. If you could take two things from this episode, number one would be to slow right down. do less, which can be hard. It's hard if we've got kids, teenagers, elderly parents, high pressure job, busy social life, but to slow down, do a little bit less, learn to say no more, learn to delegate a little bit more and prioritize yourself a bit. And I'm not just saying that as an airy fairy thing to say. Create a small bit of space in every day just for you. Now that might only be 5 minutes, but 5 minutes in your day where you slow down, you read a book, you take a bath, you put pen to paper, you go for a walk. It doesn't matter what you do. You might just do nothing. You might just sit down and take a few deep breaths. You might even just stop, look at yourself in the mirror, make eye contact with yourself and say good morning to yourself. Like, when is the last time you ever looked at yourself in the eye, in the mirror? So that slowdown is so important, because if you're on autopilot, you're working from subconscious behaviours. They're automatic. It's to make life easier when it's busy and stressful. And life is busy and life is stressful. So it's not about turning your life upside down when you want to make healthy changes. That's like the worst thing you could do, because it makes things so much more stressful. What it is about slowing down and starting to look inward at yourself a little bit. And that need only be 5 minutes a day to begin with. So that's number one. And number two, which is what I'm going to be talking to you about today, which is nourishing yourself. Okay, so slowing down being number one and nourishing yourself. Now, nourishment isn't always about nutrition. It's about absolutely everything that you consume, the conversations, the media, the books you read, the people you surround yourself with, the work that you do, absolutely everything, the thoughts that you think, everything that you consume into your mind, your body, your soul. It's either going to be nourishing you or poisoning you, if you like. Poisoning is very strong, but it's either nourishing you or it is not nourishing you, and it's not serving you. So that is something that we need to look at, but that is for a whole other episode. Today we are going to talk about nourishing our body with food. So you often hear sayings like, you are what you eat, food is fuel. And although technically those sayings are not untrue, I think that they can be quite unhelpful, and they can kind of lead to, food is fuel makes it sound very mechanical and very, non-emotional. And, there is an emotional attachment to food at times as well. And, that also gets a bad rep, but, it's not always bad, which we'll talk more about in a minute. Or you are what you eat can, if that's great, if you're eating well, you might be like, yes, I am what I eat. But, if your diet is a little bit complicated, that can lead to feelings of not good enough and, guilt and shame and things like that as well. So they're not really helpful. So I don't like to kind of think down that route. But we also can't ignore the food that we consume, because the food that you consume makes up every cell of your body, like every cell. And it influences the energy that each of those cells actually produce. So you aren't exactly what you eat, but what you eat helps you to shine brightly as your true self. So it is hugely important. So food is not just fuel. It's actually like this magic potion that helps to awaken that superpower within you that is the real you. The more you nourish yourself, the more empowered you're going to feel. It's just like a snowball effect that you're just going to build momentum, snowball effect in a positive way, if we like. It doesn't mean that you need to cut anything out. We need to stop thinking about restriction and taking things away and punishing ourselves with food. We need to detach from guilt and shame and those negative feelings that we associate with how we eat. And what we need to do is we need to start adding in more of the magic. And that's what it's about. So this is exactly what I'm going to talk about today and give you some kind of clear, actionable steps to take to start improving your overall wellness, your overall health, and just start nourishing yourself a little bit better. So the first thing I will say is you want to be having at least 3 meals every day. So you can have more meals than that. I usually kind of go 3 meals a day and like a small snack, and that works well for me. I know my coach Lindsay, she likes 5 meals a day, 5 little mini meals a day. She spaces them out nicely. Whatever works best for you, but you shouldn't be having less than 3 meals a day. It's extremely important to stabilize your blood sugar levels, to keep your energy steady, to prevent cravings. And, there's numerous other reasons as well, but they're the basic reasons. So you don't have to have breakfast as soon as you get up in the morning. Like, I know that some people find it very difficult to eat first thing in the morning, but please try and eat something like within the first 2 hours of getting up, so that you stabilize your blood sugar levels and start the day off right. Okay, so that's our first point. We'll stick with 3 meals a day. It can be more if you want. 3 meals a day. With each of these 3 meals, we want balance. Okay, and this balance is exactly what I'm going to talk you through now as well. So the first thing that I want you to always think about with each of these 3 meals is fresh fruit and or vegetables. Okay, so as much colour as you can every day. Eat a rainbow. Like, the way I look at it is, I don't particularly enjoy having vegetables for breakfast. I'm not a courgette in my porridge kind of gal, or wouldn't even be tomatoes or mushrooms in my eggs or anything kind of girl. I would be plenty of fruit with my breakfast, and then lunch and dinner will have vegetables with it. But with my fruit and vegetables, it'll be a wide variety of colour. We want to eat a rainbow, and the reason why we want to do that is each colour represents a different phytochemical, and each phytochemical has a different job in the body, a different superpower. So the more colour we have, the more nourished we are. And that's really important. Now, it doesn't have to be millions of colours every day, but look at it throughout the week and be like, are you eating a rainbow throughout the week? And it's actually kind of fun way it takes your focus away from what you're trying to not do to what you're trying to actually do, and putting in more colour just makes it a little bit more engaging and fun. Makes the plate look pretty as well. As well, with your fruit and vegetables with every meal, think about them being as fresh as possible. So if there's anyone out there who's growing your own vegetables or fruit and it's coming straight from the tree or the plant or the ground and into your kitchen, that's going to be the healthiest of all, because the closer it is to the ground, the more life force from the earth will be still in the vegetable or the fruit, and it'll be more beneficial to the body. Now, I have 3 kids and I have a busy business. Quick announcement. I have just launched a €4.99 per month podcast membership on Patreon. Inside it, you'll get exclusive episodes that walk you through my full coaching curriculum, the exact step-by-step process that my clients follow to lose weight, to get stronger, and to build routines that actually stick. Now, there's no community or accountability, but you get the full roadmap so that you can follow it yourself. If you want the structure without the coaching price tag, tap the link in the show notes. I don't have time to grow my own vegetables at the minute. It's a life goal of mine. I will someday. I also don't have time to browse farmers markets very often. I tend to just supermarket. I online order supermarket job. Any fruit and vegetable is going to be beneficial, but just the fresher you can get it, the better. So don't buy the vegetables that are on special offer, that are half wilted. Just spend the extra 50 cents and get the freshest ones that you can find. And, if you are in a position to buy, to go to the shops every couple of days, buy them fresh if you can, because the fresher the better. But also, there's nothing wrong with frozen fruit and vegetables, and quite often they're frozen from fresh. There's no right or wrong. I don't want you to get too fixated on it. If you have the time and you have the passion for it and you enjoy, growing your own tomatoes or, growing your own raspberries or whatever it is, great. But don't get so fixated on it. The most important thing is that you are eating fruit and vegetables, and that there's a wide variety of colour in your week, and that you get in the habit of each of your 3 meals a day have fruit or vegetables. So fruit with 1 meal and vegetables with 2 of the meals, and you can snack on them also as well throughout the day. Next point about your 3 meals then is protein. Now, I know some people are so sick of hearing people talk about protein on the internet, and all of the food companies have caught onto this. And marketing now is all geared towards protein pasta and protein porridge. Do you know, I actually had a packet of cauliflower rice that I bought in my freezer, which is basically just crumbled up cauliflower, put into a bag, frozen into my freezer, and you just take it out and you put it in the microwave. Really handy for bulking up a bit of rice, or just getting a bit of extra vegetables in. I picked out the packet of that, and on the front of the packet of my cauliflower rice, it said, high in protein. And I looked at it and I was like, is cauliflower high in protein? I was like, wow, a vegetable that was high in protein. And I looked at it and I was like, it's not fucking high in protein. Why have they written high in protein? So anything that there might have been like a gram or 2 of protein in it, but the fact that there was any protein in it at all, they were able to market it as high in protein. So I just want you to kind of steer clear of anything that's promoting high protein. It doesn't mean that it's not high protein, but that doesn't have to be a reason to buy it. So you want to think about, with protein, going for as natural a source of protein as possible, as close to the actual thing that the protein was. So protein doesn't always have to be meat. Meat is a fantastic source of protein. I'm not anti-meat. I'm not anti-vegetarian. I just like to give the facts. I personally eat meat. I don't think there's anything wrong with people who don't eat meat, as long as you're making sure you're nourishing yourself properly and you're getting the adequate nutrients and supplementing correctly. So with protein, we are talking about the likes of, I'm going to name the meat first, but don't worry, I will come to the vegetarian stuff. Chicken, turkey, fish, red meat in moderation, tofu, tempeh, seitan, protein powder, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. Those kind of things are going to be your best source of protein. And what I want you to think about with protein as well is you want to be having at least one palm-sized portion of protein with every meal, if not two. Now, this is very generalized because it depends on the size of the person, the age of the person, the activity levels of the person, but every meal should have at least one palm-sized portion of protein with it, if not two. So if you think about a palm-sized portion being like the size of a chicken fillet, like this, the palm of your hand we're talking about, a chicken fillet, 2 eggs, 100 grams of Greek yogurt, that kind of thing. But protein is so unbelievably important because it is the building blocks of every cell in your body, not just your muscles, every cell. It is extremely important to maintain muscle mass and bone density as we age. And let's face it, none of us are getting any younger, and we are losing bone density and muscle mass as we get older, and we need to eat a high protein diet to counteract that. Super important, regardless of whether you're lifting weights or not. Okay, protein lecture over. Next thing to think about in your 3 meals are healthy fats. So fats can get a little bit of a bad rep. Anyone who's from the generation of the low-fat diets and, even slimming clubs can be a little bit anti-fat. Fats are essential in our body. We need them to function efficiently. There are certain vitamins that if we don't consume fat in our diet, we won't absorb. So vitamin A, D, E and K are fat-soluble vitamins. And if we don't take fat in our diet, it doesn't matter how much we will be deficient in those vitamins. So it is so important. It is also extremely important for our brain health, our joint health and our hormone health. All, again, as we're getting older, really important to be minding that. And not even as we're getting older, even anyone in their 20s listening, your future self will thank you, okay? You will find like symptoms of PMS and, perimenopause, all of these symptoms, although they may not go away, they will definitely improve if you are including adequate amounts of fat in your diet. Now, not all fats are created equal. So what we're really talking about here are your unsaturated fats. So the likes of avocado, nuts, seeds, olive oil, nut butters, oily fish. They're going to be extremely beneficial. You can have saturated fat as well, but in moderation. So, that's your milks, your cheese, your yogurts, things like that. I find we don't really need to actively add in those fats. We tend to have those fats, especially if we eat meat and dairy. It's not that hard. So we try to actively increase our healthy fats. So what I would say with healthy fats, you want at least one thumb-sized portion of healthy fats with each meal. Sometimes some meals there might be more, some meals there might be less. We do want a portion of healthy fats with every meal. And that can be the oil that you've cooked in. If you're having a stir fry and you've used some oil in the stir fry, that can count as well. So, do think about how you've cooked the food as well. And with healthy fats, yes, they can be high in calories, but just in moderation. That's what I mean, a thumb-sized portion. Anywhere from like 15 to 25 grams is a good sized portion of healthy fats. Like, if you're having nuts or nut butters or things like that. So that's the next thing. After that, then we want to think about carbohydrates. So another macronutrient that tends to get a bad name, and, people will say carbs make you fat. If you want to lose weight, all you need to do is stop eating carbohydrates. But first of all, I'm not even going to get down that route too much, but people who tell you that it's easier to lose weight if you don't eat carbohydrates, I want to remind you there's a huge difference between weight loss and fat loss. So the carbohydrates that you eat, the carbohydrates that your body doesn't initially use will be stored in your body as glycogen. And each gram of glycogen that's stored in your body comes with 3 grams of water. So when people stop eating carbohydrates and like the scale suddenly drops and they're like, oh, I've lost 7 pounds in 3 days. 7 pounds of water, you haven't lost 7 pounds of fat in 3 days. And I just really think that's so important to note before I even get into carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are our body's preferred source of energy. Any diet that is completely taking out a macronutrient is not a healthy diet. Our body needs carbohydrates for energy. It can burn fat for energy if needed, but it prefers carbohydrates. We will run better And like, life is stressful enough. We've enough on than making things more stressful for ourselves with taking carbohydrates out. Also, carbohydrates are extremely important for gut health, for fibre. So we need it for fibre. Gut health is unbelievably important for hormone health as well. And also with our gut-brain axis, extremely important for mental health. And it's all very much tied in together. So with carbohydrates, again, not all created equally. Obviously, the sugary, ultra-processed carbohydrates, we can try and eat a little bit less of them and start just increasing more whole grain carbohydrates. With carbohydrates, you're thinking about a cupped handful. So you'd want about two to three cupped handfuls of carbohydrates per meal, again, depending on the person. Things like potatoes, sweet potatoes, brown rice, whole grain pasta, wholemeal bread, sourdough, quinoa, oats, bananas. Also remember that vegetables and fruit are carbohydrates as well. So you are getting a certain amount of carbohydrates from your fruit and vegetables also. But they are extremely important, and don't be afraid of them. And this is really going to help you feel good, to have the energy to, live your best life and be your best self. So don't be afraid to eat carbohydrates, just really looking at keeping them good quality. Okay, next point, which is really important, is water. Hydration. So you want to have at least 2 litres of water every day. Sparkling or still, or herbal teas do count as well. Like, you can still drink other things. I enjoy a Coke Zero. I enjoy a coffee. I enjoy a cup of tea. That's fine. I will always have 2 litres of water as well as that. It's not about giving things up. It's about making sure you're getting enough water in. And if you're someone who struggles to drink water, try with just even 1 glass a day and build on it, because it's a habit. Like I said, you can try herbal teas as well, or sparkling water. You can infuse it with some fruit, some mint, different things you can put into your water as well to make it a little bit nicer. It's a habit that you'll build up, and it's going to make you feel amazing. And your body will adjust. You won't be weeing all the time eventually. If you stick with it and you're consistent, your body will adjust to it. Okay, so those are kind of the main foundations, but you're probably thinking, okay, what about my snacks? So the great thing is you don't have to give anything up. If you apply the structure that I've mentioned, so 3 meals per day, each meal has fruit, vegetables, protein, healthy fats and carbs, and you keep properly hydrated, you will feel amazing. You'll feel satisfied. You'll feel full. You won't be experiencing the same cravings. You'll be balanced. You'll be nourished. Your blood sugar levels will be stable, and you can still enjoy a bit of chocolate every day if you like. I have a bit of chocolate every day. You can enjoy eating out with friends or when you're out and about. You can do these things, but you won't be controlled by the sugary, salty stuff as much, because your body has everything it needs. And then that's when the social and emotional and the enjoyment of things comes in as well. And it's important that it's not black or white. It's not about being perfect. It's about putting those foundations in place, that, that 80-20 rule. You've got those 3 meals in, they're well balanced. You've got a bit of whatever you enjoy in your day or in your week. There's also loads of wonderful ways to make this balance fun and tasty. Like, there's, you've an endless library of recipes and meal ideas on the internet. Even AI now will put together one for you. If you just be like, make me a recipe with, and list your ingredients and throw it into AI, like ChatGPT, it'll give you a recipe, which is pretty amazing. You can have it all. And what I want you to remember about social occasions, or, when things just don't go according to plan, you don't have a balanced day, there's a lot of junk food there and you don't feel great or whatever. Just remember that you aren't what you do sometimes. You are what you do most of the time. And that's what's important. If you can get this structure in place with your nutrition, you will start to release that superpower within. You'll start to feel amazing. You'll be focused. You'll have clarity. You'll have more energy to do the things that you want to do. And you'll have the clarity and the focus to change things in your life that you feel need changing. As you start to do that, then you'll be like, what else can I do? What else can I do? And it's just so empowering. And another thing is, as well, as you start to shine brightly as your true self, you make it feels safe for others to do the same also. It's contagious. It's like a domino effect, but in a positive way. So just remember, 3 meals, eat a rainbow, protein, healthy fats, carbs, hydration. It's so simple, but it's everything. And the great thing is there are no strict rules. Make it work for you in your life, because there is no one size fits all. I just want to say thank you so much for listening to the podcast. And if you haven't already, do go back and listen to some of our previous episodes. Stay tuned for future episodes. So the best thing to do here is to make sure that you are subscribed to the podcast. It also makes such a difference to me if you do. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And if there's any episodes at all that you particularly enjoy, please do share it with your friends, share it in your WhatsApp groups, share it on your stories. Please do tag me. I always love to hear it. Follow us on social media. You'll find me at Kate Hamilton Health on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. And if you really do enjoy my approach, we also have an exclusive Patreon subscription, which is €4.99 per month for exclusive Kate Hamilton Health episodes. You will get exclusive access to my step-by-step coaching curriculum that only my clients have access to. You won't have the community or support of coaching, but you will have a structured framework to start on your health journey. Until next time, thank you for listening.